At ease, brothers. I'm gonna say this, man. Even though I can't see y'all's faces, it feels good to be back in the presence of my brothers, man. Took the pretty much the second half of February off just to sit in a state of gratitude, man. Source Energy has been good to me, man. I just wanted to pause and sit in a state of gratitude and reflect. Lots of life changes. For y'all that follow my other channel, One Native Soul, brother has made some life changes. You know, but it's time to get back to this work, man. It's time to get back behind this camera, bro. And I want to talk to y'all today, man, about, bro, it's time you start living, man. And when I say it's time you start living, man, it's time you start experiencing life. It's time you start living in a state of expansion. And you got to understand, when I say that, I'm not talking about, trust me when I say this, I'm not saying, oh, it's time to go and get the bigger bag and it's time to buy these things. Trust me, I'm not saying that. Because even though I'm not sitting there saying, oh, brothers, I got millions and I'm this good. Of course, I'm not that. I've made enough money, brother, I can easily tell you that there's no fulfillment at the end of that road. Not saying go get it. But if you're leaning towards thinking your fulfillment is there, let me tell you, I made enough that I can tell you fulfillment is not down there. Fulfillment is in the experience. Fulfillment is in just human expansion. And I'm telling you, brothers, it's time you start living, because you don't want to wake up at 99 years old and say, you know what? I could have swung for the fence. I see what I am now. When we have our health, when we have our right minds, it's time for us to do that now, man. It's time to expand, brothers. So you have to ask yourself, man, how much have you grown? How much have you grown over the last 6 months, over the last year, over the last 5 years? How much have you expanded in your life over the last 15 years? Because a lot of us, man, over the last 15 and 20 years, we've been doing the exact same thing every single day. Day is a routine. Wake up, make your coffee, go to work, come home, sleep, eat, pet the kids, pet the dog. That's your routine. That's life. How much have you expanded? Even at your job, you've been on the same job for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. How much have you expanded within your job? You got hired on in 2002 on assembly line, bringing nuts and bolts to the right and to the left. Why haven't you expanded in that company? Why aren't you running your own unit? Why aren't you a supervisor over the whole division? Why aren't you a foreman over that whole? Why aren't you expanding? Like that's what, to live in the image simply means to be a man that's expanding. Why aren't you expanding? It's time you start living. Why aren't you achieving your goals? Think about it again. 1 year, 15 years, 20 years. How many goals have you set as a man that you've accomplished? Think about it. How many goals have you set as a man and accomplished them? To be honest, man, most men don't even set goals. And when I'm talking about expansion, for example, back at your job, I'm not talking about the annual 1.5% rate. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you separating yourself from the brothers in your unit and expanding, becoming a bigger and better man. When I'm talking about setting goals, I'm talking about saying, okay, you know what? This is a milestone. This is a place on the globe that I want to see. This is a side hustle that I want to create. This is a weight level that I want to hit and achieved it. As much as we talk about goals and simple things, you would be amazed on how many men over the course of 5, 10 years set no goals. It's scary. It's scary to think about a man can wake up over the course of years and never have nothing he's trying to achieve. That's not living, brothers. You're pretty much walking dead when you live like that. So when you wake up every day and you're talking about how life sucks and you're complaining about everything, it's because you aren't fulfilled. It's because you aren't expanding. It's because you aren't living, brothers. You have to start living. Even in your relationship, man. And I need y'all to pay attention to this, brothers. Y'all brothers that are in these long-term relationships, these marriages. But you have to understand that if your relationship is not expanding, it's going to die. It's going to die. You know, like in the Code to Her Chemistry, man, which, yeah, if y'all haven't got Code to Her Chemistry, y'all need to check that out. I was talking about that. Like you have to understand, man, that your relationship has to be full, has to be filled with a mission at all times. And again, it's not about accumulating all these dollars. It's not about doing all spending all these dollars on certain things. Just you have, as a man, you have to be mission oriented. As a leader, you have to be mission oriented, having a certain goal to achieve. And if you aren't moving like that, brothers, you aren't living, man. You gotta understand this, man. You gotta understand this. It's really all about just obtaining certain levels of freedom when you really talk about fulfillment. When you talk about living in fulfillment, it's about first establishing and obtaining freedom. You got to get that freedom to expand, man. You have to get control of your mind, control of your thoughts, control of your world, brothers, in order to put you in position to expand. But a lot of brothers aren't even living to get to that point, man. You got to start living, brothers. And I'll say this. I believe that one reason why men don't expand is because they're constantly living for others. And I'm gonna tell you this, man. You don't realize you're doing this until you come out of it. You don't realize you're doing this, and you don't realize how much you're living for other people until you snap out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can easily go back to like when I was back when I was in the church. You have no idea how many people within the church are living a certain life or moving in a certain manner or conducting themselves under a certain, jurisdiction or governing body simply because of the people in this organization. Like people can't even live or think for themselves because of organizations that they are a part of. They can't even be themselves. They can't think and talk and conduct themselves like they want to because they're still under the jurisdiction of others. Brothers, that's a prison. And I'm just using church for an example. But hell, just your circle of friends or family can keep you limited in your thinking. Think about that. At some point in time, what mom and daddy and auntie and them taught you, at some point in time, you got to put that in a bucket of, okay, I respect that, but let me be me. Let me think how I want to think. Let me be how I want to be. View the world how I want to view it. Have my own beliefs. You can't live, you can't expand because you're still in the prison of other people's thoughts, man. And the thing is, man, you don't even understand it. You don't even know you're there until you come out of it. Until you come out of it. Even when it comes to the people, man, that you're, whether you have in your friend circles or even women that you have relationships with. A lot of men won't have other certain type brothers in their circle or call them friends because of what they do and maybe what they've done in their past, or maybe they did some time, or maybe they whatever. Or a lot of men won't even entertain certain women because of what other people will say. Open certain businesses because what other people will say. Wear certain clothes because what other people will say. Brother, that's a prison, man. So one of the things that's keeping people from expanding, bro, is just worried about what everybody else is thinking. Man, you have to learn to run your own life, bro. You have to learn to run your own life and understand that everybody's going to always have an opinion. There's always going to be somebody that's saying, hey, you know what? I don't like the way you're doing this. Screw them, man. Live your own life. Live your own life. Everybody else, man, a lot of people are really a lot of people will put their energy on you just to hold you hostage, bro. Trust me when I say that, man. I've lived long enough. Trust me when I say that. A lot of people will put their energy on you to keep you from expanding, to keep you from reaching certain levels of freedom. I remember, man. Some years ago, I was hiring a nanny, and I was kind of entertaining a few different women for nannies, and there was this lady and I'll say a friend. She was a friend for a long time, and she came down, and I was going to hire her, and she was here for a bit, kind of just getting the feel, and you know, and then she said this. She said, one day she just came to me and said, hey, you know what? I don't like the way you're raising your son. I don't think you're raising your son right. And I was like, oh, like let's sit down and talk about this. Like, you know, I want to hear this. And she said, yeah, I don't think you're doing it right. And I said, okay. So first off, let me tell you this. My son is a genius in school. My son is a healthy eater. My son is an innovative young man. My son is the bomb, bro. But I'm hearing her out, man. She said, yeah, I think you should do this and do all these things. I'm like, that's how you really feel, huh? I said, at the same time, didn't you just tell me that you have a grandchild that you've never met, that you aren't allowed to meet because your kids don't even mess with you? Like your kids won't even accept phone calls from you. You're having to steal pictures off of Facebook just to have pictures of your grandkids, and you're telling me that I'm not raising my son right when my son is excelling in all areas and getting. So you have to understand, man, that everybody is looking at life. Everybody is looking at the world. Everybody is looking at you through their own lens. Through their own lens, man. So understand, when people are coming at you with opinions, brother, run your own life. Of course, man, take all feedback. Of course, if you aren't taking feedback from all people, but if you aren't running it through that filter and saying, you know what, does this line up with what the way I'm moving? Are their goals my goals? Like if somebody is living in a way and I'm not trying to get to that destination, like I'm not really trying to hear what you're saying. For example, man, like it's common for me to get a DM on Instagram, and it'll be a person that has no profile picture. It'll be a person that has 3 or 4 random posts of some crazy stuff. They won't have any business links. And they're sitting there saying, hey, you know what? I think you should do this to your business. I think you should run your page like this. I think the power circle should do XYZ. And it's like, okay, man, thank you for that advice, but show me how you're moving. I'm gonna tell you this, a lot of people that are calling no plays are constantly trying to put their energy on you. So you have to run your own life, or brothers, you're gonna keep yourself in a box. You're gonna keep from expanding strictly because of everybody else. I've been saying from day one, man, learn to put that bubble around yourself. Put that bubble around yourself, man, and govern your own life. If you aren't living like that, brother, it's almost impossible to expand. But when I'm talking about expansion, man, it's the ultimate goal, like I said, man, is just getting to a state of freedom, bro. Getting to a state of being able to live. Getting to a state of being able to love and be loved. Being able to being able to be present in people's lives that you really care about. Like, it feels good, man, to have a level of freedom where my mom can just call me and say, hey, babe, like, hey, can you come down and help me with XYZ and help me do XYZ or help us? It feels good to just be able to say, you know what, Mom, I know it's a Tuesday at 2:00, but I'm on my way. I know it's during the week. Like, I don't want to have to wait until the weekend to go see my family and my loved ones and my aunts and I don't want to have to wait till the weekend to go do that. I just want freedom to live and expand and be God in the flesh. It's freedom, man. Freedom when you're a child or your nieces or your nephews have events and they're saying, hey, Dad, can you come to my football game or uncle and aunt? Can you come support me in my ballerina so and so on Thursday in Houston, Texas, or in San Antonio? Can you do that? The freedom to say, you know what? Let me just roam this world. It's freedom, bro. That's the ultimate goal. Freedom of your mind, freedom of your time, and expansion. You have to start living, brothers. You have to start living. And again, I'm not talking about getting the $1 million cars or I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just being able to wake up and be God in the flesh. Wake up and be God in the flesh. If you're doing that at a 9 to 5, then you're doing it at a 9 to 5. But having that expansion consciousness, where if I'm in the room, if I'm at this job, I'm going to be different than everybody else. I'm going to be expanding. Where my supervisors and my managers, they're going to be looking at me saying, you know what, there's something about him. He needs to be right here with us. He needs to be over a unit. I don't care if you get there and people have been there for 10 and 20 years. If you have this expansion energy in you, brother, wherever you go, you're going to be expanding. If you go put yourself in the military, you're going to be expanding. You're going to be getting that rank faster than everybody else. If you're going to get in your company, you're going to be growing faster than everybody else. Trust me. It's an energy. It's an energy. It's a mindset. But the thing is, man, you have to stop allowing people, places, and things and everybody else's idea and everybody else's life experience mess your experience up. You have to stop letting everybody else's experience mess your experience up. Because even out of love, man, somebody can throw your life a curveball. Even out of love and concern for you, somebody can plant a seed in you that messes your whole world up. Messes your entire future up. If you allow it to be planted and allow it to grow. I'm telling you this, man. Like, again, and I've said this a lot of times, life becomes fun when you understand who you are. Life becomes fun when you understand what you're capable of. Life becomes extremely fun when you understand that, hey, you know what? Whatever my truth is, like whatever I have enough faith to stand on will be my reality. Life becomes fun when you understand that, brothers. Hey, we're having this weekend is the Power Circle's annual open house. So, brothers, if you're into learning about this type of information, brothers, this is the stuff we're talking about. But tomorrow Sunday we're having our open house, man. I'll be talking about how to pivot in your life, which is step one. Step one is understanding that there's power in your pivot. Like that's how a man navigates through life as God in the flesh, understanding what's around him and having the ability to pivot, man. It's going to be a free open house. I'll leave a link. Make sure you get registered. Seats are limited because it is a Zoom call. You know, Zoom has its caps. Seats are limited, man. So get registered for that as soon as possible. And I look forward to seeing y'all brothers in there.